If you've ever been confused or you just need clarity on what UX researchers actually do, you are not alone. Hey, so every week, or at least almost every week, one person is asking me, wait, what do UX researchers actually do? If you've ever been confused or you just need clarity on what UX researchers actually do, you are not alone. And in this video, I'm going to break down to you what UX researchers do, why UX research matters at all, and why it might just be the coolest job in tech. Before we get right into it, if you're seeing my face here for the first time, hi, my name is Tobi Lasisi, and I'm a senior UX researcher. I currently work in Quantum, and on this channel, I talk everything user experience research, from starting out to transitioning to career advancement. So if that's something you might be interested in, go ahead and click the subscribe button, like this video, drop a comment, and let me know what part of UX you might be interested in learning. I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's get right into it. So let's start with, what exactly is UX research? UX stands for user experience, right? So in very simple terms, UX research is simply the process of understanding how people experience a product. So what works, what doesn't work, what confuses them, or what even delights them. So it's how companies make sure that they are building product or something that people actually want to use. Think about it. When Netflix recommends a show that feels perfectly timed, that's UX research. And when Apple nails that clean interface that actually feels right, UX research helps to shape that. And when an airline website actually makes you cry while you're trying to change your flight, that's probably somewhere where UX research didn't happen. So at its core, UX research is about connecting human behavior to product decisions. It's the science of empathy, helping teams see users not just as data points, but as real people. So the goal of UX research is to understand the users and gain context and perspective to help make informed decisions and build user-centered product. And here's the thing, without research, teams are just guessing. Designers might make something really beautiful, but beauty doesn't mean usable. Product managers might have very brilliant ideas, but even ideas doesn't always translate to reality. So UX research saves teams from building product based on assumptions. One of the first steps of designing a new product or even improving an existing product is to start thinking about the users that would use this product or that use this product. Who are they? Where are they from? What do they want? Why do they even want what they want? And how can your product help them achieve what they want? These are some of the questions that we ask. So as a UX researcher, it's your job to answer these questions. So instead of making your best guess based on your subjective experience, you design a research strategy that would help you answer these questions in a data-driven way. So UX research helps teams build the right product for their users by understanding how real users experience the product. We do UX research first to understand users' goals and frustrations. We test and evaluate ideas before they go live. We validate whether a product actually works in the real world. And we also find opportunities that even teams didn't know existed. Basically, we stop companies from wasting time and money building the wrong things. And we do that by asking the right questions at the right time. So what exactly do UX researchers do? Before any product exists, UX researchers explore. We ask questions like, who are our users? What problems are they trying to solve? And what exactly is missing in their current experience? And to answer these questions, we use several UX research methods, such as we run interviews, we run surveys, we run field studies, just to uncover unmet need, what frustrates people, what motivates people, why do they behave the way they behave, and all things like that. So this is how new ideas are born, not just from brainstorming, but from understanding reality. A good example is when Spotify realized that people weren't just listening to music. People were curating emotions. They were creating playlists that reflect emotions. That insight came from research. It didn't just come from nowhere. It came from research, and that's how Discover Weekly was born. We also test, evaluate, and validate concepts. So once something is designed, we test it, we evaluate it, we validate it, and we bring in users to see how they interact with the product. Can people use it? Does the flow make sense? Are people clicking where we expect them to click? Sometimes it's as simple as, can users find the cancel subscription button? Can they find the search bar? Do they use the search bar? One of our main jobs is to spot that friction before the product launches and cost the companies lots of money. We also synthesize and tell stories. This is a part that a lot of people underestimate, turning data into story. So here's a secret. Research isn't just about gathering data, it's about telling a story. We analyze transcripts, analyze data, analyze numbers. We take patterns and pain points and all of that and translate them into something that the design and product team can act on. So good researchers don't just hand off data to the team. We translate human behavior into business language. We say things like 70% of the users abandoned sign up because they didn't trust us with their email. Things like users are dropping off at this point, so let's redesign the flow. Boom. Now the team has something to act on. We collaborate with other teams. A huge part of our job is working with designers, working with product managers, working with engineers, and even marketers. We are in the room where decisions happen, helping every team member to see from the user's perspective. Which means we don't just hand off reports. We stay in the conversation to make sure that research actually shapes the product. And we advocate for the user, most importantly. At the end of the day, we are the voice of the user. We make sure that when the company says it's user-centered, they actually mean it. Because behind every screen tap is a human being. And our job really is to make sure that that human being is never forgotten. We also provide strategic input. So senior UX researchers also shape strategy. We help answer questions like, should we build this product at all? That's why companies that take UX research serious are the ones building products that you can do without.
So how do UX researchers do what they do?
Well, think of it this way. Our job is basically to help the team see the world through the user's eyes. So the first thing we do is try to understand the problem. So understanding the problem is the first thing that we do. So that usually means chatting with the product team, chatting with designers, chatting with engineers to get the full picture. What's the goal here? What problem are we trying to solve? What do we not know about our users yet? And when we get a good understanding of this, then comes the research plan. This is where we decide how we are going to find our answers. So what research method are we using? Would that be through user interviews? Would that be surveys? Would that be usability tests? Or a mix of methods? It's kind of like designing a mini investigation to getting real insights on real people. And then next we talk to the users. That's honestly one of my favorite parts. You get to see how people actually interact with a product, where they get confused, what they love, what excites them, and maybe also what they wish to work differently. And after that, we analyze and synthesize everything that we got. All the data that we got from all the interactions, we analyze and synthesize. Looking for patterns, looking for connecting dots, and turning all that feedback into clear, actionable insights. Basically translating all that human stories into something that the team can act on. And finally, we share the story through presentations, through reports, through workshops to ensure that those insights from the research actually shape design and product decisions. So you might ask, what does a typical day-to-day look like for a UX researcher? So for example, for me, some days I'm running back-to-back user sessions. Other days I'm deep in analysis mode, making sense of transcript and finding patterns. And there are days that I'm presenting to the team and to leadership, making sure that insight from my research actually influences the product roadmaps. So yeah, that's a typical day in UX research. It's a mix of investigative work and storytelling and empathy all rolled into one. So it's not just about sticky notes and all of that. It's about real work that impacts big decisions. Let me give you a very short, simple example. One of the first projects I worked on in my early days, the team I worked with noticed that users were not completing an online process. They usually dropped off halfway through the process, and the assumption was that it was probably the length. Maybe the process was too long. So we ran a quick usability study and we realized that it wasn't the length, it was the language. The language was phrased in some confusing way that the users found it confusing and also made them nervous. And one small change in the phrasing actually improved the completion rate by about 40%. Now, that's the power of UX. It's not usually flashy, it's sometimes subtle, but it's human. So that's your clarity. UX researchers don't just ask questions. We explore, we test and validate, we analyze, and we advocate. We turn human experiences into insights that make products smarter, simpler, and just more human. So if you've ever been curious about why people do what they do, or you just love understanding problems before even solving them, then this might be your lane. Now, what's a product that's totally frustrated you? And what do you wish could be better about the product? Let me know in the comments. And that's it for this video. If this gave you a bit of clarity about what a UX researcher does, do me a favor and click on the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for other content like this. Drop a comment. I genuinely want to hear from you. And hey, if you know someone who might be confused about what a UX researcher does in reality, please share this with them. And thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
You and I, we never show emotions, we just keep it.